are with me now. Peace, you are with me now. Peace, you are with me now. Peace, peace, you are with me now. Peace. Peace, you are with me now. Peace.
As I look out at this community and remember the people who are also joining us invisibly, just knowing that religion and tradition, ceremony, all these things in all their different forms are simply calling us home to our own deepest self, that spirit beyond words. What a joy to be able to join in unity, in that awareness that despite all outer differences and different ways that we celebrate and honor that spirit, there is a deeper truth that connects us all. And so we invite you to join with us as we sing these simple words, this simple reminder that the greatest light, the greatest truth is within each heart. And this is simply a call and response for these first lines until you learn it, and which you will do so quickly. It goes like this. I open my heart to love. I open my heart to love. Together.
I open my heart to love. I open my heart to love.
My mind to peace.
I open my mind to peace. I open my mind to peace. I open my mind to peace. I open my mind to peace.
My soul to joy.
I open my soul to joy. I open my soul to joy. I open my soul to joy. I open my soul to joy.
My heart.
I open my heart to love. I open my heart to love.
Open my heart to love.
I open my heart to love. I open my heart to love. I open my heart to love.
Good morning. Welcome here today on this very special day. This is the first Sunday here in Advent. If you're not remembering or certain what Advent is, it comes actually from the Christian tradition in that the 4 Sundays before the birth of the Christ child are honored with various themes, and we'll be doing that here. What we know to be true, however, as Unity people, that the Spirit that was born into the world was for everyone, everywhere. And that was the teaching that came from that special time in history. In just a few minutes, Andy, Para, and Alice in Control will come up to light our Advent candle, which is for the first Sunday today. And I don't exactly remember what the first Sunday is, but they will tell us. So we'll welcome them in just a few minutes. And with that being said, we're going to go in now to prayer to open this service with holding in our hearts. Some of you may have known Serena Leffler, some not. But she was a wonderful member of our congregation. And she made her transition this week on Tuesday. And so we honor her spirit too in the eternal flame that sits on our altar. All right, let's begin now with opening our hearts and our minds to love and to this service. Sweet Spirit, we dedicate this service to love, to peace, to hope, to joy, to faith, as we begin this special season of the year, a season of remembering the truth that we are one, that we are loved, and we are a part of a holy, very holy family. We bless this service, we honor this service, we give thanks for all those who have scurried and hurried and worried and participated in making this service happen, helping it to happen. And so once again, we dedicate our love to this day. And so it is. Amen. Amen. And my announcement person? All right. It's your turn.
They told me to wait over in the wings so I'd be ready. Good morning, everyone. So good to look out and see so many of you, and we'll welcome the people watching on the live stream. I'm trying out my glasses, so let's see where I can put this. Let's see, there we go. Okay, that's for Advent. I won't take your part. Did everyone have a good Thanksgiving? Me too, it was really special. Okay, platform announcements for November 27th. Please make sure that your cell phones are on silent mode so that they don't ring during the service. Please be sure to check out our December bulletin. Where? On our website, unityofthevalley.org. Thought I'd say it a little different so it got attention. unityofthevalley.org. Let's see. Prayer request. If you are in need of prayer for yourself, for a loved one, a friend, or whomever, please let us know. You can place your prayer card in the prayer box in the foyer, right in the corner back there, after the service. Or you can, if you're watching on the live stream, or anyone can contact Reverend Inga at the phone number on the screen. So you might want to write that down if you don't have it already. And it really works. I've sent in a lot of prayer requests for others and a few for myself. So I'm always just amazed at how prayer works, when we reach out to Spirit in love. Today, Christmas decorating party. Yay. We are looking for at least 15 elves. The more the merrier, to help decorate the Christmas tree and hang the garland in the sanctuary after the service. And I love our tree, so we're going to get that decorated today. We will have Christmas music as we work and pizza when we're done. So please join us right after the service. Next Sunday, Reverend Nola Woodbury explores where our sense and order of life is the title is In the Midst of Darkness. Coming in December, this will be fun. Wednesday, December 14th at 7 p.m., the Christmas Sing-Along. Join our music team in person or on the live stream for Christmas carols. It'll be an evening of songs you love to sing. And now, a special announcement from John.
So this is the time of the year when the board starts looking to absorb new members. It's like an amoeba that just kind of reaches out and pulls you in. And if you've never considered being part of the Unity board, it's been really interesting in the pandemic age when we reverted to Zoom. And we've all gotten pretty comfortable meeting on Zoom now. I don't know when we're going to revert back, but for now, it's a monthly gathering of familiar, friendly faces, just creatively exploring how to keep this community thriving. And so if you have any interest in exploring what that might be like, please talk to me. And we also have several other people on our board nomination committee, which is Justice. Would you stand up, Justice? Right here. You can check in with him. And Barbara McKee is right here. She's also on our nominating committee. And we are going to find a few extra board members. We're looking for 2 full-term board members. A term is 3 years. And then we also pick an alternate. And the alternate is there in case somebody isn't able to complete their full 3-year term, which it's totally voluntary. We can't imprison you for 3 years. So Please think about it and listen to your heart and see if you want to get even more involved in the creative development of this wonderful spiritual community. And with that, we are ready to turn it back over to Laura for our sing-along.
You may have noticed we have someone new on the platform today. This is Lynn Seligman. Welcome, Lynn. He has a few CDs out for sale in the foyer if you'd like. And now we're going to rise and get in touch with our reggae soul and sing Bob Marley's One Love.
Fearful remarks. There is one question I'd really love to ask. One heart. Is there a place for the voice of fear now? Who has scared all mankind just to save his own beliefs? One love. What about the one heart? One heart. What about let's get together and feel alright, as it was in the beginning. One love. So shall it be in the end. One heart. Alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. One more thing. Let's get together to bless this holy vision. One love. So when the man comes, there will be no gloom. One song. Have pity on fear, whose chances grow thinner. There ain't no hiding place from the love of creation. One love. What about the one heart? One heart. What about the let's get together and feel alright? I'm pleading for mankind. One love. Oh Lord. One heart. Oh. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
All right. Give yourself some hand. How about our band and our singers? Yay. Thank you.
Thanks for embodying the best of Bob Marley. What love. How precious. The 4 weeks before Christmas are called Advent, which means the coming. In unity, we honor the coming of the Christ consciousness, not only in Jesus, but as the higher potential in each of us. In this way, Advent transcends religion and speaks to our oneness in spirit, regardless of outer differences. We can use the time of Advent to nurture this higher potential in us and in our children. The center candle, or Christ candle, represents the eternal light in every heart. From this flame, we light a candle for each week of Advent, each week representing a step in our divine unfolding. The first candle represents hope. We light this candle in hope, the hope that propels us through darkness towards the light. So let's take the light of hope into our hearts and feel its warmth and feel its silence. Hope reminds us that in the darkest times of life, illumination is possible. So once again, let's take the light of hope into our hearts and feel its warmth, feel its potential, feel its strength nurturing us. And as the hope of love resides and expands within our hearts, we feel the joy and the true message of Christmas and Advent. Thanks and amen.
Let's now take our consciousness and our awareness into a time of meditation together. Take a breath, a soft, gentle one, and prepare for the coming, the opening, the entering, and the absorption into our being of a benevolent and loving spirit that we honor this day. This is our day of Advent, a time when we prepare our hearts for a special season, but not for a season that is short-lived, but for a season of our lives with hope, with faith, with joy, with love. We fill our lives with the Spirit everlasting, the Spirit of the truth of our being, that while we may be here in physical form for a short period of time, we live always in the consciousness of the One, and we live always in the hearts of those with whom we have shared this life experience. So open our hearts now again to the coming. You don't need to look down the road to see what's coming. You can look within, and you know what's coming. For when we open our hearts to receive, the coming is peaceful and graceful and joyful. Let's take a few minutes together to just open wide. Open our hearts, our beingness, and say, welcome, welcome to my heart. Welcome to my life, gracious Spirit. I saw your coming. I knew you would be here. I welcome you. Take a gentle, soft breath again. And know that regardless of any outer differences or any spiritual expression traditions, inside we live and prove and have our being as one in spirit. It takes so many to sustain the world as it is today, but it only takes the recognition of the one to bless the world today. Another gentle breath and let yourself be blessed. Let yourself be washed over with the holiness and the truth of who you are and how your being here at this time is so important to the world. I am here, Spirit. I welcome your coming. You give me hope. And with you, I live in love for all. And so it is, forever and ever. Amen.
Every day I read the news. Sorrow fills my heart. Children gunned down by weapons of war. Families torn apart. I see red. I wanna lash out at the ones that act so cruel. But hate can never drive out hate. Vengeance is the path of a fool. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Friends of mine feel danger from a surge of bigotry. How can I stay silent and pretend that I don't see? I hold a picture in my mind of my great-granddaughter's face, and I know I need to do I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Martin Luther King showed us how to stand strong for what is right. And he never let hatred cloud his loving sight. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Only love can pull us through.
Hey, brother. Come here. Thank you. It's fun to open our spiritual community and feel new energy, new life, new spirit come in, and thank you for bringing that today. Unity has, whoops, I didn't mean to move that. Whoops. How did I get so far? Where? Did I do that? There went all my jokes. I was going to talk about Unity's problem, but I obviously had one with my clicker here. We have this paradox where we talk about needing to express more love in our lives. And yet, on the flip side, it's sometimes hard to hear these messages about what we need to bring into our lives and express without feeling the message is that we're not good enough. And how do I not feel guilty if I'm not being as loving as that song says? So I'd like to offer a pathway today about how we can embrace the opportunities that we have to express more light and love and joy without feeling like it's a burden that we have to carry and feel guilty if we're not moving fast enough. And it really is contained in this word Advent, because Advent and adventure have a common root. The original meaning of adventure was something that is about to come into being, and Advent has a similar meaning as that. So, today, my task is to help you see this idea that if we see life as sharing an adventure together, that this is a way of looking at life that can get us engaged in a process of exploring new dimensions of ourselves without feeling guilt because we haven't progressed very far. When somebody says, let's go on an adventure together, you don't start saying to yourself, oh, gee, I'm not sure that I'm good enough for this adventure. You don't have those messages that you're not enough. You just go out there with what I like to think of as confident enthusiasm. When you're going to go hike up to the top of Mount Pisgah, assuming your knees and hips are working well enough to do it, you're going to go on that adventure with your friend with a sense of confident enthusiasm, right? And I think of last week when we had our wonderful guest speaker, Piper Everts, 14 years old, talking with her grandfather. Imagine the difference in her presentation if she'd had no confidence and no enthusiasm for what she was talking about. Doesn't that contain a lot of the energy that she had? Now, just in case this picture, got a lot of brightness on that screen, but just in case this picture doesn't give you the sense of Christmas that you're looking for, I've got this one with Tarzan wearing a Santa hat. There is a way to combine Christmas and adventure. So when we think of adventure, there is a long history of adventure being used in healing. And this was a trend that began in the early 1900s, where they started to say, these people we're trying to heal in these mental institutions are not doing so well cooped up. Let's take them out into a meadow in tents and do some camping. And they found that there was actually positive results from doing that. And then this translated over into a series of unfoldments like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, with this understanding that going out and working together under the sky and in the woods does something to our self-confidence. It does something to our enthusiasm, tunes us into life. And this was expanded throughout the 20th century. They began to take troubled youth onto these adventure outings. And then you heard of Outward Bound, which was developed in the 1940s. And have you ever met somebody who just seems to be living life as if it was an adventure? You know that sense that they have? And I think confident enthusiasm is one of those things that those people have. And so we intuitively are drawn to those people, and this idea of an adventure is deep within our hearts, that instead of looking at spiritual growth and personal growth as, can I live up to my parents' expectations? Can I live up to what my expectations are? Instead, if we flip it around to, what can I experience today? What can I adventure out into? And of course, what is unity about but adventuring into this realm of experience that all begins with consciousness and all the possibilities that are there. But it's easy to be in an adventure and lose that sense. I have the various camping experiences, not too many, but a few that I can recall when I was growing up, where somewhere along the way, the adventure feeling just dissipated. And one of them was when my parents decided to take me, when I was like 10 years old, on a real long hike where we were going to go camping. And it was all this excitement about hiking from one lake to another lake. And that was all great. And then we set up our tent in the evening, and there was major mosquitoes. So I couldn't wait to get into that tent. But then my mom said, your father and I will be sleeping in the tent alone. You will be sleeping outside the tent. I didn't get it. What did my parents need to be in a tent alone for? I needed to be away from the mosquitoes, but no, all night long I was like trying to zip up my sleeping bag to the smallest bit so my nose was out, and just there would be the mosquitoes landing on my nose. And so this can happen in life where we get so caught up in what the challenge is that we lose the bigger picture. So let's explore these 3 ways of keeping the sense of adventure in our life. And the wonderful thing about each of these is that you can go deeper and deeper with each one until you are moving into a realm of exploration that is what I feel is the greatest exploration of life, which is how deep can your consciousness expand? And the amazing thing that I found is, as I was contemplating these 3, daily engagement with the universe, when we feel deflated, to seek ways to uplift ourselves. Don't just allow ourselves to go down into that pit. And then deepening our sense of oneness and self-transcendence. And we'll get into what these mean and how we can practice these in our life. But these came to me through a process of just reflecting on my studies and intuition about ways that we can tune into the adventure of life. But then last night, my eyes happened to fall on an article that said new research on people with they're called super agers. Did anybody read this article? And this is from Northwestern University School of Medicine, where they study people whose brains age at a much slower rate. And there was a quick encapsulation of what they had found that people whose brains weren't aging were. And in a nutshell, these were the 3 main things that were there. And at least my interpretation, and I will show you how they express these. The first one, they said, stay active physically, challenge your brain every day, reading or learning something new, and many work into their 80s. Now, to me, this is a very good description of at least one dimension of engaging with the universe on a daily basis. If you're learning something new, you're learning something about the universe. At least I think we're all in the same universe, and that's what you're learning about. If you are physically active, breathing in the air, what are you doing? You're engaging with the universe. If you just shut yourself up in a room, close the windows, just keep breathing your same breath over and over and don't get out there, that isn't really engaging with the universe at the same level. And then working into your 80s, still getting out there and being involved. Then they mentioned the importance of a positive attitude in these superagers. And doesn't that fit right in with this idea that when something happens to bring you down, that you use the resources that you have to say, I don't deserve to feel this way. What can I do to find upliftment? You may not be successful, at least in the beginning, but at least there is this attitude that I'm going to try my best to lift myself up. And then the last thing they mentioned that the superagers have are strong connections with family and friends, and often you will see them volunteering in the community. So, fits pretty well in with this idea of oneness, connection with others. Now, self-transcendence to me is this idea that there is something equally, if not more important than just myself. It's the needs of my world family. And what is that but volunteering in the community is a wonderful way of expressing that. It's also reminding ourselves in your day-to-day life that when you step on somebody's toes or they step on yours, instead of going right to myself, to transcend that a little bit and just put yourself in the other person's shoes. or perhaps wear their toes. Now, we're going to jump right into this first one, daily engagement with the universe. Does anybody kind of relate to this idea of perhaps when you were a child, that awakening to, oh my gosh, that is a big universe out there. And then, we grow up, we stop looking at the stars. But we can carry this attitude, this remembrance at every moment, that right now, as you and I stand here, sit here, as we join here, we are on this sphere that is cycling, orbiting, moving across infinite space. And it's so easy to forget that and lose that sense that we are on this grand cosmic adventure. I think perhaps a personal way to illustrate being engaged with the universe is if you picture your minister out there sawing down this tree, noticing how he is wearing his appropriate Paul Bunyan shirt, and notice that he is using those famous foam pads that most lumberjacks use in the colors of pink and lavender foam pads for his knees. And I did want to point out that this tree has gone through an adventure. This tree, we went out, this is the first time I went out for Unity to cut down one because they did not have any lots available at the time that I could find. And their trees have been suffering through drought. And so I think our friend here has a little bit of global warming impacted it. And it's our job after the service to give it a lot of love and dress her up really good. Will you join me in doing that? That'll be fun. But beyond my own efforts yesterday, I think Einstein captures a very deep sense of understanding how to engage with the universe in this famous quote: a human being is a part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feeling as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting to us our personal desires and affection for a few persons nearest us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. So, my question is, what is the limit of that? How far can we take that? You'll notice that we tend to put limits subconsciously. We tend to think in terms of those we love. How often do we stop ourselves and say, wait a second, right this moment, I'm going to love everyone. Right this moment, I am going to expand my love to embrace all of nature and beyond this world to the whole universe, because I can't see all of nature here on this planet, but I can love it. And so I can't see all the universe, but I can love it too. I've sometimes spoken about that awakening I had. All my life, like I'm sure many of you have had, I have looked out at scenes in nature and felt what felt like a hunger. It's like, what is this yearning feeling? It's beautiful, and it's causing some kind of squeezing in my heart, like I want to embrace it somehow, and I don't know how. A yearning. And then, having studied spiritual principles, and as the message in your song said, love, I thought to myself, what if this feeling I'm having for this sunset at the ocean is love? what if I just say to myself, this yearning is to simply know that I am in love with this, that I am joined with this beauty in love. And as soon as I did that, the yearning melted into the joy of love. And that, to me, is part of the adventure of consciousness that we have. You know, we came into this world, and pretty soon people taught us that this is just the normal world. But what really happened is we were dropped into a strange new planet with alien beings that only over time became familiar to us. But that's what we are. We've dropped into one world out of this whole universe, and it's like a science fiction movie, and we're experiencing it, but we get so used to it, and the adventure slips away. And then we tell ourselves what our consciousness is, as if there aren't limitless experiences within consciousness. So, when deflated, seek upliftment. And again, this is not about kicking ourselves because we didn't do it. It's about being in the adventure of life. And you know, if you've ever been, say, spent a lot of money to be somewhere, and you're in Hawaii or something, and your bags don't show up, and you start being miserable about whatever it is that didn't go right, eventually something will speak in your mind, and you go, oh my gosh, I've come all this way to be here in this beautiful place. Am I going to let myself ruin my time by focusing on the negative thing? How many of you have ever had that experience where you caught yourself slipping into that and then said, wait a second, I don't want to do that? Raise your hand if you've ever done that. Most people are willing to admit that they've done that. And so the idea, again, is don't feel guilty because you didn't do it. But this has been found to be one of the habits of superagers, is this kind of positive reflex to look at life and say, how can I make the most of it? How can I find the good in this situation? And it really helps if you want to keep that sense of adventure, that confident enthusiasm. What if you are a person who just doesn't have confident enthusiasm? What if you're the opposite? What if you are a person who is just riddled with self-doubt and is anxious about all sorts of stuff? You know, unity principles would say, well, first of all, don't feel bad because you feel bad. That's just piling on. But if you are willing to affirm your deepest nature, that you are beautiful, that you are spirit, that you are radiant, if you are willing to just affirm it, imagine it, even if you don't believe it, experiment with it if you want to. If you want to move beyond that, experiment. See your life as an adventure in consciousness, in possibilities that you may not have accepted. So, as we do these things, you'll notice that they build on each other. If you begin with this notion that, what was the first one that we started with? The first one was daily engagement with the universe, okay? And then from there, when deflated, you seek upliftment. It's so much easier to find the resources to be uplifted if you are actively engaged in the universe. And then once you are doing this and seeking upliftment and finding and discovering ways to do it, it just naturally leads to a greater sense of oneness. You'll notice that the people who are willing to love others, to set themselves aside and love others, part of that is this positive attitude, isn't it? It's all linked together. How can you set your ego aside and love others if in some way you don't have a positive attitude about life? And how can you do any of that if you aren't actively engaged in the universe? So you see, these things are like interlocking threads of a web. So we deepen our sense of oneness. Now, Here is a perfect illustration of that. Famous poet in one of the most famous poems of all time, Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman, which is, as some critics have noted, a recounting of a mystical experience. And this is the pinnacle moment in that poem, Leaves of Grass, where Walt Whitman explains that he experienced this oneness. Swiftly arose and spread around me the peace and knowledge that pass all the argument of the earth. And I know that the hand of God is the elder hand of my own. And I know that the Spirit of God is the brother of my own spirit. And that all the men ever born are also my brothers, and the women my sisters and lovers. Now go back to that quote from Einstein where he said, we are here to awaken from the delusion, from the optical delusion that we are separate from everybody. Is it just a coincidence that one of the most famous poets in one of the most famous poems of all time is explaining an experience of just that? And when Walt Whitman's famous poem, Leaves of Grass, came out, it had a second rebirth in the 60s. It came out in a new edition where a critic spoke about how this poem was linked to the testimony of great saints and sages throughout time who had experienced conscious oneness with the universe. Is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence? I say it isn't. Now, this is what I mean by adventure. Can you imagine a greater adventure? I mean, I forgot to tell you that this picture was taken by a friend of mine who's here. Obviously, I mean, can you imagine a scene of natural beauty greater than that? So this, to me, is a symbol. It's not just what it is, it's also a symbol of the majesty, of the vastness that is within us. Because without consciousness, we couldn't even experience this, right? Consciousness is the foundation of our lives. So how do we live our lives so we are constantly going deeper into that consciousness? Well, all these things can help us. All these things can help us remember. Imagine if as a child you were told, you're going to go out in this world and you're going to fall in love with all sorts of things and you're going to have dreams. And everything in the outer world that you love and everything that you accomplish is going to slip from your grasp because nothing lasts forever. All those people and pets and places that you love will eventually slip away. And all the achievements that you have, you can't hold on to, they too will slip away. And this little kid is going to look up at you and go, really? And then you say, but that's part of what this adventure is, because we are here to learn that we are part of a universe of ever-flowing, ever-changing energy. And you are part of that conscious energy. And as you learn to see every moment of your life living in that adventure, engaging with the universe in that awareness, when you feel deflated, uplifting yourself, not simply just by going, I'm going to have a positive attitude, but knowing the deeper truth that I am one with this beautiful universe of ever-flowing energy. And that leads us to deepening our sense of oneness and self-transcendence. Take a moment to go within in your own heart and feel and know that you are connected to the infinitude of this beautiful universe. See yourself living every day as a free adventure. You are freely flowing in the beauty, in the majesty, in the vastness of this universe, and sharing that awareness of loving oneness with all you meet. Just hold that in your heart now as our musicians come forward.
for taking us on this great adventure into new dimensions of consciousness, transcending self, greater awareness of the universe, and all of the beautiful things that you shared with us and opened our hearts to this morning. We are so grateful. This is the time in our service where we gather our love offerings together and as the ushers come up. And we just all in leadership want to thank each and every one of you so much as we celebrate Thanksgiving and this gracious time of gratitude. We want you to know how grateful we are for this congregation and the ways that you love and support and keep all the wheels turning and the doors open. Thank you all so much. Please join me in saying our offering affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have and all that I give and all that I receive. I give in love and I trust God. Thank you.
It's such a treat to be here in this loving, welcoming community, and just really feels good. I wanted to mention, Laura mentioned I have a couple of CDs that are out in the foyer, just in case you might have some holiday shopping to do. And the songs that I'm doing today, one is on one of them and the other one is on the other one. So this song, it's called The Ocean Refuses No River. And I love what John was saying about, life as an adventure. And I think one of the things that gives us that confidence, that that's true, and that I can really show up in the world is the sense that I am loved. I am loved. And when I remember that, it makes all the difference, doesn't it? It really makes all the difference. And it's, you can imagine it's like, how does that manifest? Well, it manifests in the beauty of nature. It manifests in the love of your dog or cat, in your grandmother. It's the love of spirit, right? And no one is excluded. So I want to teach you the chorus of this song so we can sing it together. And then the band will join me on it. So it's the ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. Like this. The ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. So try that, just that much with me. One, here we go. The ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. And then the next line is, doesn't help to hold a grudge. It's not up to me to judge. The ocean refuses no river. Doesn't help to hold a grudge. It's not up to me to judge. Ocean refuses no river. Now try it with me. The ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. The rain falls on everyone. Doesn't help to hold a grudge. It's not up to me to judge. The ocean refuses no river. All right, I think you got it. Let's do it. And should you want to just like get up and move or do a little chair dancing or whatever you want to do, I approve of that. The sun shines on everyone. It does not hesitate, doesn't care about gay or straight. The ocean refuses no river. does not criticize, ever patient, always wise, knows when to shield its eyes. The ocean refuses no river. The ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. Doesn't help to hold a grudge. It's not up to me to judge. The ocean refuses no river. The sun does not keep score. You don't have to do things right. You don't have to earn its light. The ocean refuses no river. Love does not compare. Chooses hope, not despair. Rejoices in a child's prayer. The ocean refuses no river. The ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. Doesn't help to hold a grudge. It's not up to me to judge. The ocean refuses no river. Have you ever felt different? Excluded or ignored? May we all learn to keep an open door. The sun shines on everyone. Doesn't care about thin or fat. Shines a light on dog and cat. Doesn't care where you're at. I would like to be like that. The ocean refuses no river. Everybody. The ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. Doesn't help to hold the grudge. It's not up to me to judge. The ocean refuses no river. One more time. The ocean refuses no river. The rain falls on everyone. Doesn't help to hold the grudge. It's not up to me to judge. The ocean refuses no river, and love excludes no one.
Yeah.
What a great band. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us today. We are made joyful and full of spirit. And thank you, Unity of the Valleys musical team, for all your beauty as you always share with us, for the ushers, for the tech crew, for those sweet angels in the kitchen, for our speaker today, for everyone that makes this service possible, for those that work behind the scenes, our dear Gina. And I want to remind you that we have our dear chaplains here with us today. They will join you on this side of the sanctuary for prayer if you would like to be with them. And one last reminder that those who would like to, please stay after the service for Christmas decorating, followed by pizza. Now we'll bless this offering. Dear ones, we are so grateful for the abundance of God's love, peace, grace in this ministry. Bless this offering and all those hands who have made this possible. May it be abundant in our lives and in the lives of all those in need. And may that grace pour throughout the world as loving grace. In all that is holy, we ask these things. Amen.
Would you like to rise and sing our song of peace together?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. One light shines through us, one love enfolds us, one power protects us, one presence holds us forever